Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topa Field here in beautiful and historic Newport, Rhode Island, where the Salve Regina University Seahawks will be taking on the Wildcats of Johnson & Wales University in a non-conference men's soccer matchup. Hello again, and welcome. I am Andrew Pizzelli, bringing you the call here this afternoon. The Seahawks 9-0-1 on the season, best start in program history. The Wildcats come into today 6-3-2, and we have an exciting one here on tap for you. I'd like to bring into the broadcast now my good friend Sal Gautieri. Sal, how are we doing here this afternoon?
Andrew, we're good on this Wednesday afternoon, October 3rd. How are you?
I'm doing great. And I would say the Seahawks, it's like the home away from home now. We haven't played on Reynolds in quite some time, but Seahawks, I think, are quite familiar here with the turf here at Topa now. So another game on the turf for them.
And that's nothing to complain about, Andrew. Reynolds right now, I can't imagine how that's looking, especially with baseball now getting their fall workouts underway. But especially with the thunderstorm last night, I couldn't imagine the condition that Reynolds is in. But we'll play here at Topa for the time being.
Yeah, beautiful setting, renovated stadium last year. Soccer getting its first action on it this year, and obviously the team has had great success no matter where they're playing this season. What do you expect today out of this matchup here with the Wildcats?
Well, these teams are no strangers to each other. JWU coming in has won 2 in a row against Salve. Salve hasn't scored a goal since 2014 against the Wildcats, so with their high-powered offense, I would be very surprised if that was the case today with Stevenson and Igo leading the freight up front.
In between the pipes for the Wildcats, Adam Cassidy, his third start of the season and 5th appearance. 10 saves on the year, 1.12 goals against average, 1-0-1 in those appearances. And a new face for the Seahawks in goal. It had been Michael Payan making all 10 starts, and today the freshman Nathan Reed getting his first shot. 5'11 freshman, 175 pounds from Magnolia, Delaware. Head coach Craig O'Rourke letting someone else come between the pipes. So I think Salve Seahawks are going to lean on their back three, that defensive backfield, which has been so strong this year, to let the freshman kind of get himself acclimated into the game.
Yeah, for Payan, it could just be simply, a rest. They had a big conference game on Saturday, big win in overtime, and they have a big one this weekend against University of New England. So it could just be, taking the day.
Let's give you a day off.
Yeah.
Matt O'Donnell at midfield. Along to the near side, Jacob Guerra trying to move on Brennan Krakowski. Guerra again. Touch for Evan McDonald. And his pass into the corner goes out of play. A couple of new faces in the Seahawks lineup. As we'll await the goal kick from Adam Cassidy. Comes to midfield, headed forward by McDonald. Touched by O'Donnell, trying to find Stevenson. Knocked away there by Robert Heyman. Jimmy Dalton's pass down the far side. Runs back out to midfield. Lester. Now Dalton once again in front of the Wildcats bench. Has it poked free, but controlled by Casey Kelly. Back to midfield to Matthew O'Donnell. Fires it down the left side, able to sneak it through to Dalton. Jimmy Dalton now in the middle for Evan McDonald. Back to Matthew O'Donnell. Casey Kelly. Trying to wait patiently and move it back to Matthew O'Donnell, and now has to race back with Noah Medeiros, who just fires it long and deep into Wildcat territory. Stevenson out to play it. Way out is Cassidy in the corner, and he fires it out to midfield. That could have been dangerous there for the Wildcats.
Stevenson with great aggressiveness there, Andrew, and he's been aggressive all year, leading the conference in goals with 7. And he mentioned new faces in the starting lineup today. Jacob Guerra starting on the right outside side. Normally that's Jordan Elster's spot, and Jimmy Dalton on that left side. That's normally Connor Woods.
Kick for the Wildcats. Comes into Seahawk territory. Trying to chase it down is Tegan Drake. Kept alive by Kevin O'Reilly at midfield and then lost out of play. Wildcats will keep it. It'll be a throw-in at midfield for Robert Heyman. Lobs it down the far touchline. Dalton comes to challenge. McDonald as well. Wildcats trying to possess it. The kick from Joseph Jennings down the right side. Drake plays it into the corner. Turning away with it is Dalton. It goes out of play. The Wildcats will keep it. And they'll throw it in from the far touchline. Long throw into the box, headed towards the goal. Knocked away by Lester. Chased down on the near side by Riley, trying to feed it out in front. Dalton chips it high in the air, kept alive by Krakowski. And it'll be Wildcats ball along the near side.
Andrew, the guy who just threw the ball in, Nate Gudkun, someone to look out for. Freshman from East Northport, New York, leads the Wildcats in goals with 6. And they've had him and Ryan McNicholas have been 2 freshmen who have really led the offensive wave for the Wildcats so far this year.
Nathan Reed touches the ball for the first time as he rolls it out to Dalton, and now Casey Kelly will control for Salve. His left-footed kick long and deep down the left side, trying to find Stevenson. Igo now wanting to keep it in play, watches it bounce away. Last touch by Johnson and Wales. 14th meeting between these two. As we said, the Seahawks own a 9-4-0 record, but the Wildcats have won 3 in a row and 4 of the last 5 meetings. Ball in front, kicked away by Riley McNicholas. Just past 5 minutes gone here in the first half. No score. Guerra trying to head it. Now O'Donnell jumps in at the 30-yard line. Trying to play it to McDonald down the right side. His pass deflected. O'Donnell now. Guerra can't catch up to it, but it goes out of play. Last touch by the Wildcats. Guerra. Now O'Donnell. Twirls one in front, knocked away, intended for Igo.
I told Zach we were going to be okay up here, so if you'd rather go down there.
And the Wildcats control possession with Drake. And it's intercepted by Landry. But Tucker McPherson streaking down the middle. And Kelly steps and he finds Guerrero who has space. Guerrero finds McDonald, who lays it off to O'Donnell, who's stolen by Drake. And the Wildcats will regain possession. And here comes Igo. And he's stopped. And Drake repossesses for the Wildcats. It's Jennings, who finds Jordan Carroll on the outside. And Carroll's got space. He's going to take it. And he lays it off. There's a cross from Kevin Riley, and it's eaten up by Nathan Reed. Reed will take his time, and he punts it away. It's a short punt. McDonald comes up with it, and he lays it off for Kelly, who finds Dalton, who looks for Lester. 37-20 remaining here in the first half. The Seahawks controlling the ball. There's Igo. He will switch the field with a great ball to Guerra, who brings it down. He cuts inside, and it's knocked away by Braden Krakowski, and it'll be a corner for the Seahawks, their first of the day.
That was a great ball looking for Guerra down that right side. And like you said, that's normally where Jordan Elster would be. Guerra thus far controlling that right side. And then it will be McDonald in the corner for Salve from the right side. His kick on the way, blocked in front. And the Wildcats now trying to run it out to midfield. Chip down the left side for Tucker McPherson. And it's going to roll all the way to Nathan Reed. And he will kick it out to the far side.
Nathan Reed been a little busy in the first 9 minutes.
Medeiros, line drive, trying to hit Stevenson. And it's grabbed by Robert Heyman. And now he will fire it right back to Casey Kelly. Pass picked off, taken by Jennings for the Wildcats into the midfield. And now down the left side, it's going to be too far for Qureshi.
Andrew Dalton and Guerrera switch sides, and I know Coach O'Rourke's been working on that with the boys. And that's definitely something to look out for, is the two outside wingers constantly flip-flopping sides to keep the outside backs on their heels.
Throwing here, trying to get to Dalton. Matthew O'Donnell now boots it out to midfield. First touch by the Wildcats. Gutekunst loses it. Now O'Donnell with space. Firing one to the left side, and the Wildcats will just play it back to the keeper. Out to the near side now to Riley McNicholas. On the ground to McPherson, trying to turn and dribble with it. Knocked away. O'Donnell strips the ball away, trying to hit Donald Igo. Pass just off the mark. Igo trying to hustle and take it back from Robert Heyman. Along the near side now, Qureshi. No pressure, gives it up to Krakowski. Qureshi once again. Out at midfield on the far side, ball given away to Casey Kelly. And his pass wide of Guerra on the left side. And Sal, it seems like the Seahawks really aren't pressuring the pass at all until the Wildcats get over midfield. That time Qureshi just left alone at the 40-yard line, holding the ball, no one really coming to challenge.
Yeah, they're playing more balanced and reserved this afternoon, it looks like. Looks like they're just going to ease into this one, which we've seen them do a few times this year, especially when we called the Coast Guard game now a few weeks ago.
Well, that was like a heavyweight fight. And both teams just throwing a couple of jabs, feeling each other out.
And that looks like the case here this afternoon.
And then we started getting some haymakers, almost actual haymakers in that game. Very physical game. Lester across the field. Casey Kelly racing to get over there for it. Trying to feed it to Owen Stevenson, taken away by Jennings for the Wildcats. Into the middle to Tegan Drake, and he'll drop it back off to Riley McNicholas with the right foot. Plays it up the left side. Chasing now is Qureshi. Trying to make his move. Rolls it towards the goal. Blocked in front, and then fired by Casey Kelly out to midfield. Qureshi again with the back foot. Plays it to Gutekunst. And now he crosses it in front, and it's headed away by Kelly.
Kelly's made two big plays there, Andrew. The first one on the cross from Gutekunst. And Gutekunst had Kevin Riley waiting twice on that back post. But Kelly with the interception on the ground the first time, and then the interception through the air on the second.
Clock rolling, 32-39 and counting to go in the first half. No score. Guerra over midfield, trying to feed it down the left side for Stevenson. Knocked away by the Wildcats. Now Guerra tangling with Kevin Riley. Ball out of play, and it will belong to Johnson & Wales. Lester had it knocked away, but was fouled. Seahawks will take it close to midfield. Noah Medeiros quickly to Guerra on the left side. Looking for Donald Igo. Good tackle there by Guerra, getting it back to Igo. Trying to angle his way down the left side and cut middle, but it's stripped by Kevin Riley.
It looks like Kevin Riley was playing the ball out of bounds there. He didn't even know it. on the third base line of the softball field.
There's a lot of lines over on that side. There's a lot of lines on both sides of the field, so it's the yellow ones that count here today. Medeiros with time and space at midfield, touches it to O'Donnell. And his pass, too soft. Casey Koreshi able to get in the way of that one.
And Andrew Guerra there's got to recognize pass is not going to reach him. He's got to come to the ball there.
Lester has it knocked away by Tucker McPherson. Robert Heyman fires it in the air, long and deep. Landry trying to get to it, able to knock it away from Casey Koreshi. Gutekunst out high, trying to play it in the middle. And we're going to get a foul here against the Seahawks as Kevin Riley hit the deck.
It's the first real test for Nathan Reed, Andrew. See how he can man his troops right now. Looks like the Seahawks have 4 on the wall. McDonald, Dalton, Lester, and O'Donnell.
Kicking away will be Tegan Drake. Drake chips it towards the goal, and Casey Kelly heads it away from trouble. Again, we said it. Best way to protect your young keeper in the early goings, don't ever let the ball get to him. So that back three doing its job so far.
As they've done all season, Andrew, 6 shutouts leading the conference, and they've been a brick wall so far this season.
And now a corner, the near side, left side, ball in the air. It's going to go way past the far bar. Headed back in front. Kelly trying to get there, and him and Reed and a Wildcat collide. And now we're going to get a corner on the far side. This will be Tegan Drake. That ball was a good 10 yards past the far bar, but a good header by the Wildcats getting it back into the fray there in the middle. Now on the ground for a shot that's blocked in front off the foot of Braden Kokowski.
And that's a good clearance by Kelly there, Andrew. Just get it out, reset.
Rolled out by Adam Cassidy now. Wildcats look to carry back in quickly. Matt O'Donnell reaching to try and strip it away. Loses it. Wildcats keep possession at midfield. Jennings moves the ball negatively back to Braden Krakowski. McNicholas. Long distance kick. Medeiros trying to turn on McPherson. Medeiros looking for space as he falls to the ground, able to twirl it back out to midfield. Jennings to it first, but Igo comes from behind and has the steal. Running with Stevenson to his right, trying to find Stevenson, and it gets past him. And him and McNicholas will tangle for it, and coming out to grab it is Cassidy.
A good idea there from Igo. Looking for Stevenson. Stevenson's been their man so far this year, already doubling his goals from last year.
McDonald lays it on back to Casey Kelly. Medeiros now trying to roll it out to McDonald, picked off by Jennings. Medeiros, and then we have another pass, and then is shoved to the ground. Nick Gutekunst, the culprit there.
And Andrew there, Medeiros was already on his way down. And Gutekunst just helped him a little bit.
Dalton trying to fight for the ball. Wildcats settle it down at the 40-yard line, giving away to McDonald. McDonald now trying to get a through ball to Donald Igo. Igo spins it towards the net, and it's kicked out of play by the Wildcats.
And that's what the Seahawks have done so well this year, Andrew, taking advantage of turnovers. McDonald stealing the ball there and looking for Igo, and Igo trying to set up Stevenson. But they'll get another chance here with their second corner.
McDonald will be the one to put it in play from the northeast corner of the field. His kick twirling its way, headed once by the Wildcats. Guerra able to get a toe on it, now bouncing out to midfield, and it was Casey Koreshi who got the touch on it first and feeds it out to midfield. Medeiros now feeds it out of play. 26:07 and counting to go in the first half. No score, and not many shots either.
Johan Asumaru checks in for the Wildcats. And he gets called for a foul right away on Medeiros.
Medeiros has hit the deck a couple of times here in the last few minutes. Kelly finds McDonald. Igo lets it get by. Now Jimmy Dalton accelerating down the left side. A little stop and start, trying to fight his way through two men. He does. Dalton trying to find McDonald, and he scores! Make that Owen Stevenson on the feed from Dalton, who weaved his way through two men on the left side, and the Seahawks take a 1-0 lead.
It was a great play, Andrew. Started all from Donald Igo's dummy that let Dalton get through there, and Dalton took it himself, fighting off two Wildcats and finding Stevenson for his team-leading 8th goal of the season.
We'll take a look at the replay. And right there's the move by Dalton. And just a great one-touch shot from Owen Stevenson.
Yeah, I don't think Adam Cassidy ever even saw that ball. The Seahawks doing what they've done all season long, striking first.
As you said, it was the deke out there by Igo. And just let that ball go by, caught everyone off guard.
Everyone except Jimmy Dalton, he ran right onto it.
How much of that is taught and how much of that is just playing instinct. In chemistry with two players?
If you see somebody on your right and you know you're coming, you could just let the ball go right through your legs and it'll just completely change the complexion of the play. As Krosky's called for the handball there.
And Medeiros puts it back in play to midfield. Lester touches it over to Casey Kelly. Now McDonald back to Kelly, pinching in left side. McDonald trying to get it to Igo, giving away to the Wildcats. Kelly doing a great job to range and intercept that at midfield, stretching out to grab that ball.
And Kelly Andrews arguably been the best Seahawk player through the first 22. He's made some big plays on that defensive end for the Seahawks.
Matthew O'Donnell to the near side. Guerra has two men come to him. Poked out of play. Last touched by Braden Krakowski. Toss in here for Matt O'Donnell. O'Donnell picking his way back to Guerra right side. Guerra back to O'Donnell inside the box. O'Donnell splits two men, crosses in front, and Stevenson has it knocked away from him out of play. Seahawks will retain possession.
Guerra and O'Donnell with a great give and go there. O'Donnell finishing it off with a nice little brush tap in the middle.
Throw in here from Guerra to McDonald, trying to turn, crossing it in front again, and it will go off of a Wildcats player out of play, and we will get another corner. And it will be Evan McDonald there for Salve in the southeast corner. McDonald swings the leg, drives it to the far bar. Kelly trying to get up and get to that one, cannot. Too high for him to head. It'll hop out of play, and it will stay Salve ball.
It's all about how you respond after letting up a goal, Andrew, and it seems the Seahawks are playing as if they just let up the goal. keeping the pressure on the Wildcats, trying to extend that lead right away.
Casey Kelly will throw in again, and he's going to get a running start. Standing up by the third base dugouts on the Salve softball field. Long toss in. McDonald heads it towards the goal, and it's grabbed by Adam Cassidy. Braden Krakowski spins it out to midfield. Guttakunst drops it back. Tyler Landry intercepts. Lester back to Landry. O'Donnell. Touch to Guerra, and it goes off Krakowski. Seahawks looking for the handball call. Not going to get it. Jennings trying to get to a loose ball, tangling with McDonald. He comes away with it. Now Matt O'Donnell at midfield. Looks to send it long and deep for Stevenson. Out comes Cassidy to grab it. And he quickly rolls it out to the right side. Ball chipped down the right side in the air for Asaramo. And now fed across the field. No one home for the Wildcats, out of play. It will belong to Salve Regina with 20 minutes and 37 seconds to play here in the first half. 1-0 Salve with the lead. All the way back to Jordan Carroll in the middle, out to Robert Heyman on the right side. Igo checking him there. Back to Carroll. His pass long and deep runs off of Asaramu. Koreshi looking to dance down the left side with Landry. Plays it up top. Trying to turn is Drake. Pressured by Lester. Jennings plays it back to the right side. Heyman, his pass, and it blocked by Igo. And now Igo trying to come and strip it away down the left side. Can't get to it. Another drive towards the net, and Guerra boots it away from harm. Chip towards the net, and an easy grab there for Nathan Reed.
That's good possession there from the Wildcats. They've had trouble scoring this year. 20 goals in 11 games, Andrew, and they've been led by a freshman up front. And the inexperience has definitely played a role recently.
Johnson Wells, 21 goals on the season, 12 allowed. Seahawks, 33 goals, make it 34 now this season. Only 7 goals allowed the entire season for Salve Regina thus far. To the back bar, Koreshi can't angle it towards the net.
It looks like Nolan Marino, the hero from Saturday night, is getting ready to check in.
Got his first collegiate goal in overtime to give the Seahawks a 3-2 win over Western New England, who thus far has played the top of the conference very tough. They tied with Endicott. We're looking to try and force a tie, if not beat the Seahawks on Saturday.
Yeah,
and they would not go away in that game.
The Seahawks took a late lead in the 83rd minute on a goal from Stevenson, and it looked like that was it. But the Golden Bears were able to fight back and tie that one not just 4 minutes later. And then in the 93rd, Nolan Marino off a throw-in from Casey Kelly.
And that can sometimes be dangerous, where you get the late lead, you think, all right, we've got this one in the bag. The other team scores. Western New England had so much momentum in that game, and immediately, right in overtime, usually it's the team that had just tied it that you see with that momentum get the goal.
And that's what we've seen all year from this team. They're just so calm. They're composed. And it's a reason why they're off to the best start in program history and nationally ranked as of today.
Hero Sports has ranked them 17th in the nation. And I'm sure the Seahawks will continue to climb the rankings if they continue on this pace. In 2012, when they won the Commonwealth Coast Conference title, they started 9-1-0 in September. Just a shade better than that this year, 9-0-1, so undefeated in the month of September. That the games are only going to get bigger and be more magnified now as the Seahawks go on. Still a couple of big conference tilts left for them.
You said it, Andrew. University of New England this week on Saturday at 1 o'clock and MCLA on Monday at 1:30. They have 3 conference games in 5 days next week. Finishing with Roger Williams on the 10th. As Stevenson's a little shaken up there.
Rich Ventura entering the game for Salve, freshman from Floral Park, New York.
He replaces Jimmy Dalton.
Cassie's kick comes right to Matt O'Donnell, headed back towards Igo. It hops over his head and is grabbed by Heyman for the Wildcats. Trying to turn Qureshi now, trying to angle it towards the goal. Out is Reed to challenge and then spilling down to the ground. There's a player for the Wildcats. I think that might be Tegan Drake. Nope, it's not Drake.
I don't know about that call, Andrew. Nathan Reed came right out, took the angle away, and made a great save, and Coach O'Rourke is furious. And it is Tegan Drake, you were right. There's a great chance for the Wildcats to tie this one up.
Actually, I think it might have been Riley McNicholas is the one who was shaken up, but they're going to have Drake take the penalty kick here. And that is a tough break for the Seahawks, as you said. Tough call there as Reed was coming out to make the save.
He made a great save. And he'll have to make another big one here.
Well, the biggest test of the game so far for the freshman keeper. It'll be Tegan Drake with the penalty stroke. Clock stopped with 14:45 to play in the first half. Seahawks leading 1-0. Reed hopping up and down between the pipes. Awaiting the kick from Drake.
And O'Donnell still not happy with the call as he chats it up with the lead referee.
Still waiting for the kick here. And here we go. The kick. And they score! Reed read it right. But Tegan Drake able to sneak it under the freshman keeper, and we are tied at 1.
And he got a hand to it, too. You can see he's all worked up over it. And that's the first collegiate goal let up by Lathan Reed, but he made a great play and a great save. And that's the second goal for Tegan Drake in 2 years against the Seahawks.
That's a huge shift. Well, the Seahawks home crowd not happy with that call, and I don't think they'll get any happier with it as this game goes on.
And that's a big goal for the Wildcats, Andrew. You felt the Seahawks were about to just take this one over.
Well, momentum here for Johnson & Wales. Krakowski away from Guerra, drops it on back to McNicholas, chased by Stevenson, who gets a foot on it. It squibs away from him, right to Krakowski, spinning along the near side. Into the middle now for J.P. Rio. Given away to Stevenson, chip to Matt O'Donnell. O'Donnell trying to get away from Jennings. Guerra and Krakowski go down. Now Stevenson gets tripped up, and play continues. We've had multiple players hit the deck. And play will go on.
And you feel it now, Andrew. The Seahawks are not happy. You can just sense it in their body language right now.
A lot of contact here on the near side. That, in the eyes of the official, no call. Clock rolling, 13:05 to play in the first half, and a tie game now. Owen Stevenson from Jimmy Dalton, and then Tegan Drake on a penalty stroke. The scoring thus far. Kelly can't get it to O'Donnell. Ball left at midfield. Krakowski comes to get it with the left foot, drives it in the air down the right side, trying to find Jennings. Actually make that Asaramu. And now Asaramu pressuring from behind, trying to leapfrog Matt O'Donnell. Looked like he was going to go for a piggyback ride there. Guerra to McDonald. Ventura at midfield moves it across to Guerra. Marino picking his way into the middle. Marino now along for O'Donnell, trying to chip it back. Make that Igo trying to chip it back to Marino. Kelly keeps it alive to Matthew O'Donnell. Spinning on the far side, trying to get into Donald Igo's corner. Fed back out to midfield. O'Donnell hops to it. Tiptoes the near touchline. Igo now nearly triple teamed. Played back to Asaramu at midfield. Hopping in was Kelly for a moment. And Krakowski will come to get it. Deep in his own territory, he'll play it back to the keeper. Cassidy drives it up the near side, out of play. It'll be a throw in here for Landry from the near touchline. Guerra trying to turn down the right side, takes it wide, now trying to cross it in front, and Cassidy lays out to make the save.
It's great aggressiveness by Cassidy. They're cutting that ball off. Igo was about to run onto it. And Andrew, you could just feel the tenseness after that penalty call and that penalty goal from the Wildcats. If this game is tied heading into the half, we will be in for a dandy in the second half.
Reed grabs the bouncing ball before Asaramu could get to it. Now feeds Kelly on the far side. In the middle turning is Donald Igo. Wide of McDonald. Riley plays it along the near side, away from Matt O'Donnell to J.P. Rue. Drop back to Krakowski. Looking for an angle. Rio tripped up. And the official says play on. That's the way this one's starting to go now after that call. The physicality is picked up, but it's not being called.
The ref is definitely letting the boys play, and have to appreciate that to some degree until it gets a little out of hand. And at some point, it will.
Rio misconnects with Asaramu. Medeiros out to Guerra. Guerra trying to touch it to McDonald. Now Krakowski. Rio along the near side. And a strong tackle made there by Landry. Down goes Rio, but it'll just be a throw-in. Ball high in the air. Matt O'Donnell heading it at midfield. Jennings sprinting away from Evan McDonald. Plays it right side to Heyman. Heyman into the middle again. Bodies go flying. And this time we get a late whistle.
Well, the ref was pointing toward the Johnson and Wells net, but he didn't blow the whistle. But it'll be a foul.
It comes with 9:15 in counting to go here in the first half. Ball out at midfield. And it will be a kick for J.P. Rio. Rio on the ground and given away easily to McDonald. Not sure what that was all about. Long and deep now intended for Stevenson, and he's not able to keep it on the field of play. Seemed to be some confusion there on the part of the Wildcats off that kick.
Yeah, he was looking for Riley McNicholas, and he was trying to run in behind Evan McDonald, and McDonald just read it like a book. And it was a combination of Rue, not... You could see before the kick he was motioning towards McNicholas to make a play, and it just didn't happen.
Asaramu fighting his way into the middle. Medeiros comes to challenge with Kelly and Marino. And the ball is stripped. And now here's McDonald off and running at midfield. McDonald, a lot of space. Plays it to Stevenson, and it ricochets off of him right to Krakowski. Got a Kunst. Out to midfield along the far side. McDonald trying to pressure Heyman. Got a Kunst again. Down the right side, playing it into the corner. Heyman tracks it down, feeds it towards the net, and it's saved by Reed.
Good first response from Reed after letting up that goal. Able to bounce back.
He kicks it away now. Over midfield, right to Donald Igo. His header ricochets off the middleman, Jordan Carroll, and now a fight for it at midfield. Jennings trying to sprint away from Marino, now Rio. Drake, who has the goal here for the Wildcats, around Marino, looking for a call, doesn't get it, and Drake now chips it into the corner right side. Ball fed high and wide, out of play. Marino looking for the armbar there from Drake, still talking to the midfield official.
And John Julian will replace Donald Igo.
See those calls.
6:25 to go in the first half. Game tied at 1. Seahawks led 1-0 off an Owen Stevenson goal. And then a questionable call in the eyes of the Seahawks and their fans gave a penalty stroke to Tegan Drake. And he was able to sneak it past freshman keeper Nathan Reed. Throw in for Johnson and Wales. It'll go off Asaramu, out of play. Seahawks will get it back.
And Nat Crocker will replace Evan McDonald, pushing Jacob Guerrera back to his natural home in the central attacking midfield role.
Matthew O'Donnell grabs a loose ball at midfield, trying to lead John Julian down the left side. Julian able to hop to it, trying to dance in the corner now against Heyman. Julian backs him all the way out, playing it wide. It goes off of Ventura, out of play. Actually, going to say last touch by the Wildcats. Lobbed in now for Stevenson, trying to turn and feed it towards the net. It will go off of Heyman, and he's able to grab it before it heads out of play and send it out to the midfield where Noah Marino trying to get it back to Guerra at midfield. Bouncing ball now for the Wildcats. Krakowski will settle things down, and with the left foot, play it long and deep into Seahawk territory. Medeiros will head it back to his keeper. Casey Kelly now. On the far side, Ventura. Marino now. Sneaking through the midfield, trying to connect with Julian. That's knocked away. O'Donnell trying to get it to Nat Crocker. Crocker comes from behind, knocks it away from Rio. Now Marino. Guerra trying to move to Ventura, and he can't keep it in play. Under 4 to go here in the first half. Game tied at 1. Marino knocked away by the Wildcats. Rio now back to Drake at midfield. Got a Kunst. And now a pass all the way through to Krakowski just over midfield. He tries to play it back to the opposite side. Gutekunst able to keep it in play. Held by Andrew Vasiri. Goes out of play with 3 minutes and 19 seconds to play here in the first half. No real urgency here from the Seahawks. Throwing once again now for Kelly, just in front of the Seahawks bench. Ball too high for Stevenson. Jordan Carroll with the right foot plays it out to midfield. Casey Kelly trying to turn away from Asaramu. Kelly. Back to Noah Medeiros. Matt O'Donnell at midfield. And he plays it too high. It'll hop out of play. Looking for Nat Crocker along the near touchline.
Edge of the pace of this one is definitely slowed down in the last few minutes as both teams look to get into the half.
There was an initial flurry there from both sides after that goal off the penalty stroke. And things have dramatically slowed down. Not much energy or urgency on the field. Gutekunst waiting for the throw-in. Plays it short into the corner to Drake. And we're going to get a call here that gives it back to Salve.
Yeah, Gutekunst with the illegal throw there. He had his back foot off the ground.
Jennings all the way across to Heyman. Carries over midfield. John Julian racing over to pressure. Nearly pokes it away. Now Jennings. Krakowski. With 1:20 to play. Back to McNicholas. He sends it long and deep. Kelly there to head it into the corner. Vasiri trying to turn on Ventura, and we're going to get a corner. Ticking towards the final minute here of the first half. An opportunity here for Johnson & Wales.
Their third corner of the afternoon. J.P. Rue will look to get his teammates the lead here.
And on their throw-ins and on the corners, they've tried to go to the far bar every time. We'll see if they do here as well. Left-footed kick going to come right into the middle. First touch by Nat Crocker. And it's going to roll out of play. It'll belong to the Wildcats. Throwing with 35 seconds for Gutekunst. Lobbing it towards the goal. Headed by Medeiros out to midfield. Stevenson heads it further. Heyman now. One touch trying to feed it back into the corner. Azaramu chasing it down and able to niftily keep it in play. Nat Crocker doing a good job tying him up. Just killing time, which is more valuable right now as we tick towards the end of the half, and he draws a foul as well. So the Seahawks dodge a bullet there. And this should be the final seconds of the first half as the kick comes to John Julian at midfield, and that'll do it. So we've played 45 here at Topa Field, and not much decided. Seahawks and Wildcats tied at 1. Sal, what are your thoughts on that first half?
Well, there was that initial flurry through the first 20, Andrew, when the Seahawks struck. But then a few minutes later, the Wildcats got that goal back. A questionable call by the referee, but they converted nonetheless. And since then, it's been a physical battle of wills, and the second half should be the same.
All right, we will take a break. We have reached halftime and be back to bring you the call of the second half here from Topa Field. Salve Regina 1, Johnson & Wales 1. We'll be back. Welcome back to Topa Field. Getting ready for the start of the second half between Salve Regina and Johnson & Wales. Andrew Pizzelli alongside Saul Gauteri. Bringing you the call of this game. Second half underway. Game tied at 1. It was Owen Stevenson early in the first half. And then it was Tegan Drake on a penalty kick that tied the game. Medeiros getting fouled on the far side. And Sal, for any of those that are just joining us, it was a bit of a questionable call with the penalty kick that was awarded. Maybe run through what had happened and what maybe the officials thought they saw or didn't see that led to that call.
So there was a great chance for the Wildcats, and Nathan Reed came out, cut off the angle, made the save, but I don't recall who it was. Who was tripped up?
It was JP Rio who was heading towards the ball.
JP Rio was heading towards the net, and he got a shot off, but Nathan Reed came out, like I said, cut off the angle, but Nathan Reed tripped over him. JP Rio tripped over him, pardon me, and he went flying, hit the deck, and sold it, and the ref made the call. But if the goalie is outside the box, which he was, he's allowed to be aggressive. He's allowed to make a play on the ball, just like he did just then. It was a very similar play to what just happened.
No, Medeiros a little shaken up there as well. And we do get a call. Now they're going to stop time from Medeiros, and hopefully he is okay and just shaken up for a moment. Seahawks were looking for a call there. Guttenkunst pushing down Noah Marino from behind, trying to get to the ball and get to the front of the net. Medeiros seems to be okay. He's shaking it off. Aggressive start here for the Wildcats. And they will get a kick inside, right around the 18, outside of the box. It'll be Andrew Vasiri twirling it towards the net, and it skips in. I'm not sure if McNicholas got a toe on that or if it just hopped off the turf and kicked into the net past Nathan Reed. The way Reed read that, didn't even react. I think he thought it was going to skip wide. We'll have to try and get a look at the replay. Johnson & Wales takes the lead.
Nevertheless, that was a great ball from JP Rio. That's the Seahawks control possession. It's Landry. He finds Marino. And Marino's going to keep going. Marino hits one. It's wide. Great chance for Marino to tie this game real fast.
We weren't able to catch the replay there. And that ball was a kick just outside the 18 near the far touchline, and
Riley McNicholas' fifth goal of the season. He came in today, fourth in the GNAC in goals.
I go to McDonald. McDonald trying to fight his way, pressured from behind, drops it off to Casey Kelly. Now Lester. This is a new situation here for the Seahawks. They have not really found themselves trailing all that often this year, let alone in the second half.
It's maybe their first time trailing this season. It's been such a smooth run for them. Their lone tie was 0-0.
The ball will go back to the Wildcats here. Throwing right from in front of the Seahawks bench. Landry will have to chase it back. Lester finds Igo. Brings it back to Lester. Now into the middle. Medeiros spins it for Casey Kelly. Kelly walks it forward. Hesitates. Now tries to carry down the left side. Kelly around Vasiri, trying to get around Heyman, who angles him off the ball. Left in the middle. Igo racing in to collect, trying to cross it in front. Wide of the foot of McDonald, and then Vasiri just boots it away long and deep, clearing it back to Seahawk territory. Medeiros turns and fires. Igo trying to corral it. Chasing it into the corner now. Igo trying to touch it in front to Stevenson, who was waiting to shoot. Guerra can't get to it, and it goes out of play. And the Wildcats get it back.
This is the first time, Angela, we've really seen the Seahawks have a real sense of urgency going forward. They've normally just put the ball down, played, but now you see they're being a lot more aggressive than normal. It'll be a throw-in for Landry here, right in front of the Wildcat bench. Just over 40 minutes remaining. It's been a raucous second half so far. Here's Tegan Drake, and he's stripped by Lester, who finds Casey Kelly, who will take his time. Surveying the field, he finds Marino. Marino on his left foot pulls it back. He finds Lester. Lester looking for McDonald, who has space. He turns. Seahawks controlling here as McDonald looks to find Guerra, and that will run out of play, and it'll be a goal kick. It'll be Adam Cassidy, the junior from Jersey City. And he will go short. It'll be Robert Heyman. Heyman plays it down the line. Kelly goes up. He wins it. Dalton brings it down. It's controlled by Drake. Him and Marino are tangled up, but Guntkunst comes up with it. And the Wildcats regaining possession here. And that ball's given away. It'll go right to Noah Medeiros. Medeiros surveying the field, looking for options. He'll take it himself. He lays it off for Landry. That ball's deflected. It'll go out of play. It'll be a throw-in for the Seahawks. It'll be Landry again. He's looking at Lester, short, but he'll brush it off and go down the line for Stevenson. Stevenson looking for McDonald, and that pass is intercepted by Jennings. Controlled by the Wildcats yet again, McNicholas, and it's cleared out. Here's Lester looking for Landry, who will attempt to switch the field. It's Marino. Gets tangled up with Guntkunst, but the Wildcats come up with it. Jennings. And the Wildcats, and that ball will run out of play. It'll be a throw-in for Noah Medeiros.
So, did a little bit of research there. This is indeed the first time all season the Seahawks have trailed in a game, period, at any point. So, uncharted territory here for the Seahawks. And I'm sure that's the kind of thing. I mean, obviously, if you're head coach Craig O'Rourke II, you want your team to just continue to roll and dominate, but it's a good experience. You know, obviously, if you can pull out a win here in this one, to have your team face a little bit of adversity and be in new situations and grow from it.
At some point, Andrew, they're going to come across this when it's later, whether it's later in the season or during their playoff run. It'll be interesting to see how they respond right now with 37-20 remaining. They've got to push a few buttons here to get this thing done.
Medeiros at midfield. Walking it forward. Across now to Landry. With space, he will walk it forward. Igo has it squirt off his foot. Last touched by Jennings. And Guerra steps out of play. Throw in for Johnson and Wales. Igo intercepts. Now McDonald will try, and his shot on the ground goes well wide. Cassidy just watching it go. Goal kick coming here from Adam Cassidy. It'll come up short of midfield. McDonald first to it for the Seahawks, and he'll carry forward. McDonald trying to chip it to Igo, and a foot race to the goal line, and Igo will spin it out of play.
McDonald had a lot of space there, Andrew. Might have been a better idea to just take it himself.
He had the defense retreating. No one had stepped to him yet as he approached the 18. Nolan Marino able to direct it off Qureshi. Dalton along the near side, looking to get to it with Drake. Last touch by Dalton. Heyman will throw in along the near sideline. Gutekunst plays it over the shoulder, now into the middle. That can be easily taken by the Seahawks. Guerra trying to send it long and deep into Igo's corner. Will this stay on the field of play? Igo hustling, able to get to it, keeps it alive. Trying to scoot the end line. Dalton has it run off of him, and they're going to give it to Salve. Throwing from the near touchline. Quickly to Marino. Marino trying to split two men. Cross it in front. Hops towards the goal. Stevenson on the ground trying to spin it on the net. That's deflected off of his foot. Pinching in is Kelly now. With the left foot, he drives it forward. Headed away by Carroll in the middle. Out towards midfield. Now back inside. Trying to find Igo. Ball high in the air. Settled down by Dalton. Marino now. Squirts it over to Casey Kelly. And he will send it to the far bar. Looking for McDonald. Top of the box. McDonald turns, trying to feed it into the middle. There was Igo. And stepping to it is Carroll for the Wildcats. Heavy pressure here from the Seahawks as Landry plays it into Guerra's corner. His pass deflects out of play. Seahawks quickly throw it back in.
You said it, Andrew. Heavy pressure so far since that goal. And the Seahawks definitely pressing all the buttons right now, showing that sense of urgency as O'Donnell replaces Dalton.
Ball into McDonald, trying to get it to Stevenson. Jennings first to it for the Wildcats. Out to midfield. Medeiros strips it away. Wildcats looking for a call. None comes. Here's Igo now, top of the box. Touches back to Marino, working to his right. Back to Lester at midfield. Trying to play it across. Matthew O'Donnell comes to get it. O'Donnell draws the double team. Tries to split it. Has it poked free and taken by Gutekunst. But a good job by Casey Kelly stepping up to get it to O'Donnell. And Kelly shaken up for a moment. And he will slowly get to his feet. And they're going to stop the clock here for Kelly. The clock stops with 33:06 to play in the second half. Medeiros with the kick, sends it towards the box, headed by Stevenson towards the goal, and Cassidy has it ricochet off his hands and a teammate for a moment, but he's able to grab it. Cassidy's kick sails into Seahawks territory. On the ground now, Drake trying to get to it. Medeiros challenging him there. Medeiros now along the near side to Matt O'Donnell. His pass grabbed by Gutekunst, but given away to Marino. Marino backtracking now, gets it to Casey Kelly. Kelly trying to send it long and deep for McDonald, and it's just fed out of play by Jordan Carroll.
Good idea from Casey. And just to get the ball up the field.
McDonald tied up with Carroll, and they call the foul there against the Wildcats. And the Johnson & Wales contingent on that end of the stands, not happy with the call. And a similar situation here that the Wildcats had on the opposite end of the field. Outside of the box, a kick inside the 18 along the near side for Evan McDonald. McDonald swings the leg towards the bar, and it's knocked away by Cassidy, and then fired by Carroll out back to midfield. Richie Lester will track it down and play it back to Reed. Marino. Igo giving up to McDonald. Back to Igo, looking to turn and run. Igo sees some space, fires it towards the goal, and it's grabbed by Cassidy.
It looks like, Andrew, the Wildcats are content with this one-goal lead. Dave Kullick's troops are parking it a little bit. Just one player on the offensive end with 10 behind the ball. Most of the time, it'll be going forward.
Casey Kelly steps to a ball as Vasiri was trying to track it down. Matt O'Donnell. Time and space, slowly walks it forward. Now down the line, wide of Stevenson. Wildcats will get it back. I think a lot of people like to call that defense jokingly parking the bus. Is there degrees you could take to parking the bus?
You could park the bus with 11. Just like the full team. Like right now, you see the last man up right now, Cesario Brimmer, number 17 for the Wildcats. He's just kind of the lone wolf up there, just roaming through the back four. Every time the back four has it for Salve, they'll ping it around, and he'll just chase. But other than that, everybody else should be behind the ball. Tegan Drake, the second man up. But you see the back four backs and then the two right in front of them for the next 29 minutes. It'll be instrumental for the Wildcats to get out of here with a win.
Noel Marino has it bounce off his chest. Now it finds McDonald at midfield. Trying to backtrack along now. Richie Lester. Across in stride now for Casey Kelly. Carries over midfield. Matt O'Donnell. With 29-26 to play in the second half. Seahawks trailing by 1. First time all season they have trailed to an opponent.
Thank you.
Foul at midfield against the Wildcats. Medeiros across the field to Casey Kelly. Able to settle it down to the ground. Kelly now swings the left leg forward to McDonald, trying to touch it to himself. Igo tangled up in a crowd, goes down to one knee. Pitching in is Guerra, sending it into the far corner. Matt O'Donnell will chase it down there. Trying to get around Heyman. O'Donnell fighting along the ball. Hustling is Marino, able to get it away to Lester. Seahawks keep possession. Lester moves it to the opposite side. Pinching in is Landry inside the 40. Landry now accelerates the ball. Chips to Stevenson. Wide to Guerra. Guerra trying to dance with it. Has it poked free out to midfield. Grabbed by the Wildcats for a moment. Drake trying to get to it off the pass from Cesario Brimmer. Back into the box. McDonald trying to spin it to Igo, and it's sent long and deep again. Medeiros at midfield. Brings it across to Casey Kelly. Kelly again with the left foot, spins it forward. Stevenson trying to get to McDonald. Wide now to Guerra, pinching in. Guerra, the shot, a save made. And then it's covered up by Adam Cassidy.
Cassidy with a great save, Andrew, with his knees there and keeping the ball in play. Big break for the Wildcats and a great chance for Jacob Guerra to knock this one up.
Heavy pressure from Salve Regina. Cassidy now with the left foot, drives it long and deep into Seahawk territory. Casey Kelly gets to it first, but Drake grabs the loose ball and looks to test the right side. Drake trying to split two men around McDonald and Kelly. Loose ball now comes to Jennings. Jennings pass picked off by Lester. Here's Matt O'Donnell now. Matt O'Donnell with McDonald running to his left. Ball out of play. Matt O'Donnell looking for a call. And the ball. Will throw in at midfield. Now he'll hand off to Casey Kelly. McDonald gives it up to Stevenson down the left side. Stevenson trying to turn to his right. Fires it in the air, looking for Guerra. bicycle kick attempt by Igo, and he is whistled there. Trying to go up high for the ball.
Igo there trying to save the day and get on the highlight.
Trying to find his way on a Sports Center.
It's like his teammate Matt O'Donnell.
(26-23) and counting to go here in the second half. Seahawks thinking the Wildcats are being a little too cheeky there, taking their time with that kick. How long, Sal, would you have to push it if you're the team in this situation? If you're Johnson Wales and you're leading, is every official going to be different with how much deference they give to a team, whether or not they're stalling?
Yes and no. I mean, it's obvious that they're stalling. You can see it, and the refs know that. Whether they'll call it, that's up for debate. I mean, you could give the keepers a card. You could give Cassidy. You can give Dave Cullick, the head coach, a card. There's a variety of things you could do, but at the end of the day, it's gonna wait. They're gonna waste the time regardless if they want to or not. And the Seahawks are just gonna have to figure out a way around that.
And you get the sense, a lot of urgency here the last 5 minutes. 25 minutes now to play.
Johan Asamaro replaces Jazaro Brimmer. And Asamaro's that guy now who's just pressuring that back line.
And the ball belonged to the Wildcats. A good job there by Andrew Vasiri. Knocking it off of Matt O'Donnell and out of play. J.C. Kelly heads it forward for Donald Igo. Along now for Stevenson. Stevenson trying to get it into the middle. McDonald, his shot deflects away. Up top, Igo with a strike, and it's off of Cassidy, and then he's able to cover it up.
Good hit by Igo there, and you'd normally say that people need to charge the rebound, but no rebound given up there. Cassidy dropped it, but the rebound was no more than a foot away from him.
Nola Marino thrown to the ground. Wildcats player. That's Casey Koreshi looking around like, what did I do? Here's Matt O'Donnell dancing away from a triple team, trying to feed to the opposite side of the field, and Koreshi racing there to intercept. Read that one beautifully, but stripped by Marino. Marino pressured from behind, and Koreshi again whistled for the foul. And now we do get a yellow card. And I believe that's issued to Johan Asamaru. They actually gave that to Marino.
Looks like he was talking after he got fouled, Andrew. He was looking for more. As that free kick goes out of bounds, it'll be a goal kick for the Wildcats.
And it's only going to get chippier on the field. And it's really been physical without many calls after the questionable call that led to the penalty stroke. You've seen players tumbling all over the place.
Referee really swallowed his whistle after that controversial call, which has had a tremendous impact on this one.
McDonald got his head on it, but was not able to control. Matt O'Donnell trying to jump in and strip it away from Heyman. And now with speed, Heyman down the left side around to Koreshi. He fires it to the far side, headed first by Landry, kept alive by the Wildcats. And they'll play it all the way back. Karofsky. Now Jennings. And the Wildcats looking like they're playing a little bit of keep away here. Just looking to play possession.
They're doing a very good job right now, Andrew. Killing over a minute at this point.
Karofsky looking to fire it towards the net. Make that JP Rio trying to turn and shoot. It goes out of play. Grabbed by Nathan Reed with 22:05 to play.
Johnson Wells sporting a 2-game winning streak against the Seahawks. And they're 22 minutes away from snapping the Seahawks' perfect season and extending that win streak.
And they put some time back on the clock, I think because the ball went off the field of play. And Reed had to go fetch it. Lester heads it to McDonald. On the far side of the field, Guerra. Back to Landry. He tests the right side looking for Owen Stevenson. And watching it go out of play is Riley McNicholas. And we'll get a goal kick here for the Wildcats.
McNicholas right now as the game winner for the Wildcats. It looks like he got a foot to that free kick from J.P. Rue.
He got a toenail on it.
And you said it before, Andrew. It looked like Nathan Reed thought it was just going to roll wide.
Qureshi will watch it out of play. Casey Kelly with 21:20 to play lobs it into Igo, trying to shield Heyman. Igo now. Double team comes to get him. Matt O'Donnell now trying to turn the corner on Qureshi. Looking to dribble through two players, and it's fed out of play. Marino hits the deck along with Heyman. And it will just be possession for Salve. Matt O'Donnell firing it long and wide, looking for Guerra, trying to settle it down, and then Karofsky boots it high in the air, still in Wildcats territory. It rolls all the way out now to midfield for Tyler Landry. Landry angled off the ball, out of play, last touched by Johan Asamaro. Lester back to Medeiros. Long and deep now to Matt O'Donnell. Ball fed out of play by Heyman.
Johnson Wells right now definitely bringing the physicality it needs.
And a strong tackle there by Asamaro on Landry. And it's, as you just said, it's the physical play right now of the Wildcats. I think bothering the Seahawks.
The Seahawks just need to break through that one time. We've seen it so many times this season, Andrew. So many magical moments, so many big goals. Do they have one more, possibly two in them?
Ball thrown in play in front. It's headed away. Matt O'Donnell trying to shield Asamaro. Lester giving away to Heyman. Matt O'Donnell chips it to Nolan Marino around the official. Into the corner now. Kelly trying to cross it in front too high and wide. And it's going to skip off the field of play. Clock rolling, 19.5 to play in the second half. Johnson & Wales leading Salve Regina 2-1. First time all season the Seahawks have trailed in a game.
You said, Andrew, it's gut check time for the Seahawks.
And we've seen the Wildcats here, as you said, park the bus, and even more so during that last sequence for the Seahawks. Wildcats content just to continually kick the ball off the field of play. Heyman now testing the right side. Down the right side now, Kevin Riley looking for an angle. Riley to the left foot. Asamaro with a drive, spins it on the net, deflected by Landry in front. Medeiros feeds it out to midfield to McDonald. Seahawks looking to turn and run. Donald Igo has it roll off his foot, and Carroll will fire it back to Seahawk territory.
Johnson Wells looking for a delay of game yellow card there after Medeiros sent it after the whistle. But it'll be a free kick for J.P. Rue from the 30. And Andrew, J.P. Rue has been in the mix of just about everything this afternoon.
Towards the net, Lester heads it out of trouble for Salve. Asamaro trying to get it back out to Krakowski at midfield. Now Jennings being chased from behind. Stevenson comes away with it. He gets knocked to the ground and draws a foul, trying to hit McDonald at midfield.
Great work by Stevenson there to get back, win the ball back, and win a foul.
Medeiros plays it across the field. Bouncing ball for Casey Kelly. Settles it down. Spins it to Donald Igo. Turns to the inside. Trying to play it back to McDonald. Igo hits the deck. Looking for a call. Igo still a little shaken up. Guerra now on the right side in front of the Seahawks bench. Back to Landry. Lester in the middle. Donald Igo now with space. Carries forward. Igo chips it to Marino. Back to Igo. Trying to get it to his strong foot to shoot. Marino waiting. Shooting a little late to the right side. McDonald with a shot. He scores! And they get the offsides call late. Everyone in the building thought that was a goal, but very late you see the flag up on the far side.
And that's disheveling for the Seahawks, Andrew. McDonald with a great finish. Great work by Marino and Igo in front of the 18. And it was a late flag, you said it. And now it looks like the refs are going to discuss.
We'll get some conversation here.
And Coach O'Rourke claiming it is a good goal.
This is a massive call in this game. Clock stopped with 17:14 to play. Everyone thought this was going to be a good goal. And I'm guessing by the reaction of head coach O'Rourke that he's not getting the answer he wanted out of the officials. So it's going to stay 2-1. We thought McDonald had tied this game. He was just barely offsides. And play continues. My, oh my, what a swing. Medeiros trying to send it down the field. Out of bounds. Taken now by the Wildcats. Well, there's been 2 calls in this game the Seahawks haven't liked.
Your coach is going to go, and you're going to go with him. Am I clear?
The official is, I think, speaking to a fan.
Your coach will go together.
I'm not sure what's going on here. I think
He was talking to the refs. And he brought up Coach O'Rourke. He said, you and the coach will be...
Well, we've had a little bit of everything here today.
Couldn't ask for a more intense contest so far.
I was going to say there's been 2 calls here as a throw-in from Gutekunst is knocked away, headed away by Medeiros, and now Casey Kelly feeds it in the air out to midfield. 2 calls the Seahawks aren't going to like. The one that led to the penalty stroke, and then that offsides call there.
And right now, you never want to blame a loss on the referee. But right now, that's the difference right now. That offside call and then that penalty call.
And like you said, you can't blame the officials for a loss. And if you're the Seahawks players on the field right now, you have to just put it behind you.
Yeah.
You still got 15 minutes. That's plenty of time to get 1 goal.
That's an illegal throw in there from Tyler Landry.
It is incredibly difficult to go undefeated. Things like bad calls, bad bounces, those things happen in a season. I mean, the fact that the Seahawks hadn't trailed ever to this point, as Asaramu called offsides.
Like you said, Andrew, it's insanely impressive that they have not trailed all season long. And I think that they've responded positively to being down. I mean, they haven't been able to finish as of yet, but the pressure that they've applied for the past 25 minutes after letting up that goal, it's been telling. This team definitely is hard, and this team definitely has been close. And it's quite possible they could tie this game or perhaps take the lead in the next 15 minutes.
McDonald softly leaves it for Igo with a drive, and he scores! That time, it's good.
That's a great goal there from the Seahawks. Andrew McDonald with a lovely layoff for Donald Igo. And with 14:41 to play,
Donald Igo ties the game, and that changes things dramatically too, just from a strategy standpoint. The Wildcats were just trying to ride that one-goal lead to the finish.
and now you see a few more Wildcats have been pushed up. Joining Asamayu up there.
Game tied at 2. Jennings now hopping to it left side, playing it down into the corner. Landry out to make the sliding tackle on Rio.
Great non-conference test for the Seahawks.
Long throw in, high in the air, headed towards the box, and Reed will watch it head out of play. And it's going to be a corner here for the Wildcats. Johan Azamaru, joined by Rio, just quickly rolls it into play. Guttacon's tied up with Stevenson for a moment. Ball back out to midfield. Jordan Carroll pressured by Stevenson. The ball booted away, out of play. Stevenson trying to strip that and run. Would have had Igo with him in the frame as well.
And the two forwards, they've definitely earned their keep. They've both played every second so far. Normally you see Coach O'Rourke rotate his forwards, but not today.
Turning with space is Kevin Riley. Sending it long and deep down the left side. Here's Rio trying to chip it in front. Looking for Azamaro, streaking to the net. Casey Kelly races to this one, spins it down the near side. Donald Igo trying to roll it towards the net, looking for McDonald in space. Touched first by the Wildcats. McNicholas feeds it back out. O'Donnell trying to jump to it, pokes it out of play. Kevin Riley will throw in. Actually, he will hand off now to Robert Heyman. With 12:19 and counting. Heyman tosses into Azamaro off his foot. Nolan Marino trying to get it to Igo. And they're going to call Igo here for the foul. .11:50 and counting. Seahawks and Wildcats tied at 2. Ball in the air. It comes right into the waiting arms of Nathan Reed. And he will hold.
I think Nathan Reed with a great drop kick there.
Headed off the head of Jordan Carroll back towards Cassidy. That was dangerous as Igo was roaming there right in front of the goal. Now Cassidy's kick sails equally as well into Seahawk territory. Kept in play by Azaramu, trying to get around Kelly. Azaramu trying to cross it in front of the left side. Score! Coming down the left side was J.P. Rio, and the Wildcats retake the lead.
Andrew, that all started from Adam Cassidy's punt. Asumayo beating Casey Kelly to the ball, scooting right by him, and a beautiful cross. And a great response from the Wildcats there. So the cross gets by Landry as well on the back post. Not sure who was on the receiving end.
3-2 Johnson and Wales. Back and forth we go, and now the Wildcats can go back to parking the bus. Seahawks still with tons of time. 10:52 remaining. Lester trying to get it in front. Guerra can't get to it first. Jennings for the Wildcats heads it into space. Rio, who just tied the game, has it go off his foot out of play into the Seahawks bench. Landry. Ball goes out of play. Ball into the corner. McDonald with the back foot trying to play it on the net, and it's grabbed by Cassidy.
Great response, Andrew, from the Wildcats after Donnie Igo tying this game on a great finish. But a great play from Adam Cassidy, Asamayu, and JP Rio, who's been in the middle of everything this afternoon. He got fouled on the penalty. He scored the second goal. And he scored this one here, where he played the ball in on the second goal, pardon me. So the goal, the assist, and the drawn penalty.
Marino was the hero this weekend as O'Donnell threads one into McDonald to the left side now, into the middle. Igo trying to turn, back to Lester. On the far side now, Landry. Make this Guerra. Dancing, crosses it into the box, and a header will go wide. Nine minutes to play. Seahawks had never trailed in the game until today. They fell behind 2-1. They tied it. But the Wildcats answer again. Eight and a half to play, and a foul at midfield gives the Wildcats possession. And it's been a mixture of physicality and skill for the Wildcats that have given them this lead.
Very physical second half. They had that 30-minute stretch with that 2-1 lead, parking the bus that we've mentioned so many times. They let up that lead, and they got it right back like it was nothing. And they are 8 minutes away from giving the Seahawks their first loss of the 2018 campaign.
Gutekunst trying to dance in the far corner against Guerra and Landry. It comes to Medeiros. He sends it long and deep. Lester trying to get it away from Gutekunst. Play back. And the Wildcats again trying to move it into the box. Brimmer has it roll off his foot. Jennings knocked away by Marino. Kept alive by the Wildcats. Landry runs into one on the far side. Medeiros trying to feed it out to midfield. It comes to Donald Igo. Igo looking to turn and feed Stevenson. Jumping in is Marino. Across now for Matt O'Donnell with 7:08 to play. O'Donnell trying to thread it into McDonald. Ball knocked away there. Back to Casey Kelly on the Seahawks side of the field. Medeiros pinching up. Sends it all the way across to Guerra. Guerra now turns to the inside. Chips it into the middle. McDonald has it hop off his foot. Fed in the air out back to midfield by the Wildcats. Brimmer trying to turn and play it is whistled for a foul. Medeiros with 6.5 to play will be the one to boot it away here. The Seahawks get their men in position. Medeiros with the drive, and it's headed by Casey Kelly out of play. $6:15 to play. Getting down to crunch time now for the Seahawks. Goal kick on the ground, nearly grabbed by Guerra, out of play. It goes back to the Seahawks. Throw in for Landry at midfield. Down the near touchline, Stevenson, who got the first goal of the game for Salve, gave them a 1-0 lead. Gutekunst has it poked free. Lester trying to turn it midfield, drops it back to Casey Kelly with 5.5 to play. Lester at midfield, across now to O'Donnell. Back towards Marino. Marino now trying to carry through Jennings, and a good job there by Jennings to take the ball away. Given back to Lester, though, as Jennings falls down to the turf. McDonald to Lester. Casey Kelly. 5:12 to play. O'Donnell to Marino. Trying to slip it through to O'Donnell. It comes to McDonald instead. Trying to pass it through the double team to O'Donnell again on that left side. Wildcats deny that. Casey Kelly tracking this one back, chased by Brimmer. Here's Marino. Now to O'Donnell, trying to dribble it to himself. Casey Kelly to throw in. Long lob for Donald Igo, goes over his head. Comes to Jordan Carroll. High in the air it comes to Brimmer. It'll go out of play. Seahawks will throw in from their own territory, though. Still trying to test this left side. The Wildcats have been strong to it.
And the Seahawks have so much room on the other side with Guerra and Landry.
Lester trying to go there, too soft on the pass, and it's picked off with 4:20 to play. Cesario Brimmer trying to play it back to his defense. Lester heads it out of play. Four minutes to play. Seahawks in danger of losing their first game of the season. Casey Kelly tied up, lost it. Ball crossed to the left side, and the shot is fed high and wide. Cesario Brimmer had the whole net to shoot at.
He had the game on his foot, Andrew. Would have been a huge 2-goal lead for the Wildcats. Might have sent them home. But a big break for the Seahawks there, and they have life with 3.5 remaining here at Topa.
Mark that one down with 3 minutes and 40 seconds to play. That one could have iced it. Matt O'Donnell plays it all the way across the field, trying to hit Jacob Guerra. Touch to McDonald now. McDonald down the right side, just behind Stevenson. Lester. Back up to McDonald. Trying to chip it into the corner. Seahawks now testing the right side. McDonald trying to come to the ball. McDonald still trying to weave his way through two players. Able to force his way forward with a drive, and it's going to hop wide of the net. Cassidy watching it bounce away. And we'll have a corner here for Salve. Clock rolling with 2:44, 2:43, 2:42 left in the second half.
O'Donnell and McDonald here on the corner.
McDonald drives it, and it goes wide. And trying to track it down is Medeiros. Everyone fanned on the heading attempt. Marino fires it towards the goal. Headed on the net, and they score! Donald Igo again!
Great ball there from Jacob Guerra, Andrew. And a lot of action in the last 15 of this one. 4 goals, 2 apiece. And we're knotted up again.
Back and forth we go. 2:15 to play. Game tied at 3. Seahawks with the ball back. Long lob in. On the far side, the Wildcats booted away to midfield. Casey Kelly with space sells it down across to Matt O'Donnell. With space in the left corner, O'Donnell wind the dance, trying to feed it on the net. It's deflected. It comes back to him. O'Donnell now in the corner with 99 seconds, spins it towards the net, headed off of Igo and out of bounds. Seahawks needed overtime to beat Western New England. It was the Golden Bears who came back to tie that game late and forced the extra frame. This time it's the Seahawks who have had to rally for the first time all year, finding themselves trailing, and they have responded in kind.
They've responded, Andrew, not once, twice.
Marino, run over from behind. Foul with 1:10 and counting. Guerra with the long drive that goes wide. Seahawks not waiting to set up there off that foul, just quickly playing it. Final minute. Game tied at 3. Matt O'Donnell comes up to pressure Heyman. Heyman to Kevin Riley. Riley now sends it down the near side. Medeiros heads it to Casey Kelly. Kelly with the left foot, able to spin it and keep it in play. It hops to Adam Cassidy, and he'll hold on with 35 seconds. Riley McNicholas sends it long and deep. Medeiros heads it away from trouble. Pinching in is Riley. Marino wins it. Gutekunst, and Marino comes from behind, and we get a foul with 18 seconds. Nick Gutekunst knocked to the ground.
They have 10 seconds, Andrew. They got to get this ball off.
And they're going to stop the clock with 7.8.
This will be the last play of the game, most likely, Andrew. And here we go.
7.8 seconds to go. Game tied at 3. All eyes on the freshman keeper, Nathan Reed, in the orange jersey between the pipes.
Reed got fooled on the free kick earlier in the second half. Seems like days ago.
McNicholas with a drive on the ground. It goes wide. And that will do it for regulation. Once again, the Seahawks are going to need extra time to decide a winner. 3-3 here from Topa. We will take a break to catch our breath and then be back with the call of overtime. Welcome back to Topa Field. Overtime here between Salve Regina and Johnson & Wales. This one has been a thriller this afternoon. A non-conference game between two in-state opponents. Andrew Pizzelli alongside Sal Gauteri bringing you the call. And Sal, this game has had a little bit of everything.
You could say that, Andrew. They've definitely... say that, Andrew, as we approach overtime here. Seahawks have, we discussed it was gut check time, and they definitely displayed it here. It's their third overtime game in the last 4, and these legs got to be tired, but one goal will send us all home, whether it's from the Seahawks in white or the Wildcats in blue.
Ball down the right side. McDonald tracking to keep it on play, trying to cross it in front. Stevenson can't get to it. It's hit high in the air by Braden Krakowski. Out of play. Seahawks will keep it. James Davies into the game now. Playing back for the Seahawks. Stevenson trying to get it to Guerra. Guerra fighting to keep it in play. It goes out of bounds, and they're going to give it back to the Wildcats. Braden Krakowski will lob it in. The Seahawks took a 1-0 lead in this game, and then fell behind 2-1 and have been chasing it ever since. But 2 goals late in the second half to knot it up. Given away here to McDonald. McDonald weaving his way. Lays it off for Igo. Touch to McDonald. And it's headed out of play. That one took a couple of crazy bounces.
Great give and go from Igo and McDonald there, but McDonald was called offsides at the last second there by the assistant referee. A couple of late flags on these offside calls, and 2 of which have been huge Seahawk chances. One was a goal that was brought back. And we spoke before, Andrew, you don't want to blame refereeing, but the Seahawks definitely have not had luck on that front.
I think it's a great sign, too, for the Seahawks. You know, even if you end up losing the game, you want to see how your team plays, how they respond in situations here after the regular season non-conference game, and having to battle a tough physical opponent, and also having calls not go your way, but still finding a way to be in the game is huge.
There's been a lot of adversity for the Seahawks today, but like you've said.
Matt O'Donnell moves it across to Dalton. Back to Casey Kelly, rolls it for O'Donnell. Pops it in the air to Dalton. Far touchline. Heyman comes free with it, moves it to Jennings. McDonald battling him there, out of play. Last touch by the Wildcats. McDonald up high, trying to roll it for Igo. Back to McDonald, trying to get it back to Igo. Marino pinching in. He was the hero this weekend for the Seahawks in overtime. Loose ball at midfield. Marino, a pest. Gets it free to Davies now. McDonald. McDonald with a long drive that goes high.
Good hit from McDonald there, and a good idea. Cassie knew it was coming, but he still looked a little shaky there. But the Seahawks with the majority of the possession in the first 3.5 of overtime.
When you're trailing, it's such a fight to get back and tie a game, but despite the Seahawks having to really work for it here in the second half, you feel like they have more energy right now on the field. Here in this extra frame, sprinting down the far sideline, Jack Ellis. First time we've called his name here this afternoon, trying to get through Medeiros, who fires it out. Krakowski pinching in. McDonald chasing from behind. Guerra will knock it out of play. It'll be a throw-in for the Wildcats. Casey Koreshi, make this Nick Gutekunst. Lobbing it in, headed in front. Kelly boots it high in the air. Stevenson pokes it away, is tumbling to the ground. No call coming. Stevenson races back in to make a tackle. And now he has the ball at midfield. Dropped on back to Casey Kelly. Squibbed away from him. And now taken by the Wildcats. Threaded in front. Medeiros. First to it for the Seahawks. Rolls it out to Guerra. McDonald. Stripped. And then ball given back to Medeiros. 5 minutes to play in the first overtime. Heyman to Gutekunst. Jennings now at midfield, giving ground to McDonald. Dalton trying to intercept that one. Had it go past him. The last touched by Kevin Riley. Seahawks throw in. Dalton in stride into the middle. Across for McDonald. McDonald to Guerra. His pass deflected out of play. Guerra will throw in from the near touchline. Lobbing it in towards McDonald. Trying to turn down the right side. Crossing it in front. Knocked away by Carroll. Guerra trying to touch it in play. Cannot. Thrown in by Casey Qureshi. Qureshi can't get to that pass from Jennings. Under 4 to play in the first overtime.
James Davies on the throw, and the freshman from New Zealand.
And even if you can't see Mr. Davies, you can. He's got a very distinctive voice.
You can hear him for sure. The ref forgetting to blow the whistle again, Andrew. Seems the referees, all three of them, have struggled in this one.
Pass picked off by Jennings, off and running to midfield. Seahawks trying to get back defensively. Here's Davies, and he will drop it back off to his classmate, Nathan Reed. Out to Casey Kelly on the far side as we tick towards 3 minutes to play in the first overtime. Igo as it poked off of his foot. Seahawks toss it in. Racing in is Marino. Able to keep his balance, finding space, and then Marino is fouled. And he's a little shaken up, kind of hopping there on one leg.
Two and a half remaining here in the first overtime period.
And you've got Medeiros, O'Donnell, and Igo all out near the ball, along with Marino.
And Kelly will join the attack. Igo on the ball.
He's got 2 to his name here today. Does he have a hat-trick one to send the Seahawks home with a win? The kick towards the goal is high and wide.
Great idea from Igo there to curl it near post.
Under 2 minutes to play here in the first overtime. Cassie's kick comes up short, headed back towards Stevenson. Stevenson's to his left, chips it on the goal, and that misses wide. Just a very shallow kick there from Adam Cassidy.
And his goal kicks haven't been great all afternoon. They've been short line drives. He had that one punt, however, that led to that third goal. But his goal kicks haven't really reached about the 40.
Now they have Riley McNicholas come back and drive this one to midfield. Headed first by Jimmy Dalton. Evan McDonald comes along to get it. Guerra sprinting to the near side to keep it in play. Final minute here in overtime number 1. Davies into the middle, knocked away by the Wildcats. Turning to run now is Tegan Drake, who has the penalty stroke goal that tied the game 1-1 early on Free ball now for Stevenson. Along for Donald. Igo trying to touch it back to Stevenson. He's tripped up. Marino now to the far side to Dalton with 40 seconds to play. Matt O'Donnell looking at midfield, driving it towards the net. It goes wide, headed away by the Wildcats. Along this near side now, Casey Koreshi with 29 seconds to go. Guerra knocking it out of play. 22 seconds to go. Maybe one last rush here for the Wildcats. Gutekunst lobs it in, knocked away by Marino with 14 seconds. McDonald with 11 seconds, trying to fight his way forward. Igo leaving it for McDonald. His kick is redirected. Igo with 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Igo with a shot, and it's saved by Cassidy at the horn.
Great work by Igo there. He heard the clock, and Matt Hurd dwindling down, counting down, but a great save by Adam Cassidy there to send us to the second frame.
10 more minutes will go up on the board. Seahawks and Wildcats still tied 3-3. Overtime number 2 coming up. We will take Welcome back to Topa Field. 10 more minutes up on the board. Overtime number 2 getting ready to start. Andrew Pizzelli alongside Sal Gauteri. And Sal, what did you see there in that first overtime from the Seahawks?
So the Seahawks had mounts of pressure, and the Wildcats didn't really have anything generated in that first overtime period. That ball was on that side that's closest to us, because we're about the 45. But the Seahawks had all the pressure, all the chances, and their biggest chance came right at the end with Igo trying to get that third goal. And they'll have 10 more minutes to figure this one out, or it'll be their second tie.
Seahawks wearing the home whites, moving right to left here in overtime number 2. They scored 2 goals moving this way in the second half. See if they can find the back of the net once again. Possession for the Wildcats down the right side. Kevin Riley angled off the play, and a hard play made there by Casey Kelly.
Good shoulder-to-shoulder action there from Kelly. Unsung hero so far this afternoon. He had great defensive plays in the first few minutes of this game, way back when we were scoreless.
And that back line has done a good job. Nathan Reed has not been asked to do much. We've lost sight of that as well here in this game. Nate Reed making his first collegiate start. Here's McDonald with space, trying to find Donald Igo.
And Igo looking for the call there. He's not going to get it. Riley McNicholas with a great work on that 50-50 there. And interesting to see, Andrew, we discussed a few minutes ago Adam Cassidy's goal kicks. And Igo and Stevenson have to be aware of that right now.
It will be Cassidy here. Short steps to the ball, this time able to drive it past midfield. Trying to spin and run was Marino, stripped by Jennings. Robert Heyman now into the offensive end. Turning is Riley again down the right side, trying to cross it in front. Lester there to intercept. Drake turning down the right side, chased by Casey Kelly. Kelly knocks him down, strips the ball, looking to spin it out to McDonald, giving away to Jennings. Jennings with the left-footed strike, and it's directed away by Marino. Wide to the right side, Guerra will catch up to it, keep it in play, send it long and deep back to midfield. That's a great kick from Jacob Guerra. Tucker McPherson drops it back off at midfield. Drake trying to turn softly down the right side for Riley. Riley spinning it in front, intercepted by Matt O'Donnell. McDonald from behind, stripped by Jennings, along for Casey Kelly. Jennings on the ground, able to reach out with his foot, and the two of them tangle as well. And now we get a whistle against the Wildcats. Some physical play here in this second overtime.
And Andrew, you said it. The Seahawks defense caught a break there. Casey Kelly on 2 occasions trying to dribble the ball out of harm's way. Never a great idea. And he got hit hard. He has taken a beating this afternoon, him and Medeiros.
Davies on the far side, walks it forward over midfield. Guerra trying to touch it to Igo. Given away to Johnson and Wales. Under 7 minutes to play here in the second overtime. Reed with a short kick. Bouncing in front of the Wildcat bench. Kept in play by Guerra. Seahawks will throw in from the far touchline.
Jacob Guerra playing some huge quality minutes in this one. In the absence of Jordan Elster, it's always tough to replace a senior and getting a spot start, but Guerra has definitely done a great job of replacing him.
Casey Kelly walks it over midfield with the left foot, plays it forward over the head of McDonald. Bouncing for the Wildcats to handle. Away from Lester for the Seahawks at midfield. Medeiros heads it across to Casey Kelly at the 50-yard line. Marino pressured from behind, gets it away to Matt O'Donnell, plays it between the legs of Kevin Riley. O'Donnell now slicing into the middle, driving it towards the net. Bouncing ball for Cassidy, and he has it.
And Marino got fouled on the touchline, but with O'Donnell streaking through the middle of the field, the Seahawks were given the advantage as some of the Seahawk faithful looking for the foul.
Noah Medeiros stepping up aggressively, moves it to Guerra at midfield. Gets it back to McDonald now. McDonald trying to feed it through to Donald Igo. Pinching in is Lester. He'll hold uncontested. Move it to Matt O'Donnell. O'Donnell trying to move it to Igo. Here comes Medeiros. He will lob it into the attacking end. McDonald trying to head to it. Grabbed by the Wildcats. Kicked by Kevin Riley. High in the air. Ball will bounce out of play. Out into the stands. Throw into Lester. O'Donnell trying to spin with 4:48. Out to midfield. Medeiros stepping up, challenged at midfield. McPherson now pressured by Casey Kelly. Riley challenged by Kelly, who strips it.
Big time step from Casey Kelly there, Andrew.
Stevenson Feeding it into the middle off of Igo's foot, and Cassidy will grab it before Guerra can get to it. We approach 4 minutes to play here in overtime number 2. Next goal wins. Well, these teams will leave here today tied.
Kevin Riley. A little upset with Matt O'Donnell, looks like there.
Well, this whole second half has been chippy and physical.
And we talked when the Seahawks played Coast Guard. Coach O'Rourke was screaming at his players they needed to match the physicality and the intensity, and they did on that night. And the Wildcats brought physicality and intensity from the start, and the Seahawks matched it in the second half. In the first half as well, but mainly in the second half.
Once they fell behind 2-1, you really felt the Seahawks, from a physicality standpoint, have answered. And one of the major players in that has been Casey Kelly. Whistled for a foul there, but he has been very strong on the ball on his side of the field in the back.
Kelly's done a great job all night. He's made some big defensive plays in the first half, and he made that great step not too long ago.
Kick just over midfield for the Wildcats, 2:50 and counting. Ball driven towards the net, headed away by Davies. Back into the box, kicked away by Guerra, out to Casey Kelly. Wildcats again able to track it down in front, knocked away by Matt O'Donnell. McDonald plays it into space at midfield, grabbed by Robert Heyman. Back to the left side, Guerra will watch it hop out of play. Seahawks get it back. 2:26 to go in the second overtime. Seahawks trying to rally and earn their 10th win of the season. Davies, soft touch at midfield, back to Noah Medeiros. Line drive with the kick, sailing to Cassidy, who bobbles it for a moment, but hangs on and now flips it out to the near side to Robert Heyman. Ball into the attacking end for Salve Regina. Drake comes to get it. Casey Kelly boots it in the air with 99 seconds left to go in overtime. Headed forward by Davies, bouncing towards McDonald. Heyman tracking it back, will play it all the way back to Cassidy with 1:28 to play. Guerra to Nola Marino. Turns, trying to find McDonald. McDonald back to Lester. Matt O'Donnell with space on the left side. O'Donnell sprinting into the middle, feeds it towards the net, and it's headed wide.
Great ball by O'Donnell there. He was looking for Guerra, but it looked like Igo got a head on it. Igo trying to get his third.
He scored on a header to tie things at 3. Final minute here in overtime number 2. The kick from Cassidy. Comes over midfield. Richie Lester heads it once, headed by Drake. Turning now McPherson for the Wildcats. McPherson softly down the right side. Chasing is Kevin Riley. Into the corner to keep it in play. Feeding it towards the net. Blocked by Medeiros with 35 seconds. Chip for O'Donnell. Matt O'Donnell. Along to Evan McDonald. Sending it down the left side. Can Stevenson catch up to it? Sprinting down the left side. He watches it go out of play with 22 seconds to go.
Good idea by McDonald there, Andrew. A last gasp effort.
And unless
the Seahawks,
unless the Wildcats can get up the field in a hurry, this one is going to end in a draw. 10 seconds. Bouncing ball for Medeiros. Lester holding Marino with 6 seconds. Down the left side. It's booted all the way into Seahawk territory. And the final seconds are going to tick off the clock. And we are going to end here today in a draw. So the Seahawks suffer their second draw of the season. They're 9-0-2. This game had a little bit of everything in it. Offense, defense. Got to see a penalty kick. And I'd say if you're the Seahawks, I think you have more of a bitter taste in your mouth with the draw than if you're Johnson and Wales. I think just the way this one kind of played out, the Seahawks had some things not go their way. They I'm sure, feel like they should have won this game.
You said it, Andrew. The refereeing late kind of cost them a little bit. Like I said before, you hate to blame the referees, but that penalty kick call that didn't go their way in the first half, which resulted in the first goal, the offsides goal that was taken away late in the second half, cost them. But like you said, a bitter taste in their mouth, but the Seahawks showed a lot today.
You definitely would rather take the draw than the loss. Johnson Wales falls to now 6-3-3. They have 3 draws on the season now, due the Wildcats. And this was a great non-conference game here today. I'd say for both teams, some midweek action in between conference play, and two of the better teams in the state tangling one another. And, hey, maybe the draw is a fitting result because both of these teams went toe-to-toe here today. Salve, as we said, 9-0-2 now. Next up for the Seahawks, they will travel to play the University of New England. They return to Commonwealth Coast Conference play this weekend. That game slated for a 1 p.m. start. And not a lot of home games left on the schedule. The Seahawks had a lot in September. Just 3 remaining here at home, whether that be Reynolds Field or here at Topa Field. But the Seahawks will allegedly be on Reynolds Field on October 8th at 1:30 p.m. That is going to be Senior Day for the Seahawks. So once again, your final here today, the Seahawks and Wildcats tie at 3. A valiant effort from both sides. The Seahawks led early. The Wildcats continue to fight and battle. They took leads late in the second half, but the Seahawks, Donald Igo with 2 goals in the second half, able to answer. Neither team could find the back of the net in overtime, and so we walk away today with the draw. I'd like to thank our entire staff and production crew. Brett Wilkes providing live statistics. Tyler Benjamin for providing your camera work here today. For Saul Galtieri, I am Andrew Pizzelli. Thank you for listening, folks. Have a good night.